Hi, it's Matt here. I'm the founder and CEO here at Launchcloud. Now, I started the company because I knew we could build software that would better automate business processes, but most importantly, gain insight behind the data you collect every single day. I've said this before, but Launchcloud fits into two camps. One, you have a large field team and you want to collect the data better, or two, you want to automate processes. So we're going to deep dive today into Launchcloud, take a look at the features and see how this will fit into your business. And to do this, I think it'd be really useful if we pick a use case that we can work on together. So let's imagine we have a company. And in this company, we're going to create an order form and we're going to collect that from our field staff and from a web-based form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we do that and what we can do to trigger automated emails and gain insight from that data. So that's the best place to start, your data. We call this section reports. Let's take a look. So I've landed straight into the submissions here. Now you can see we have a list here of all the answers to questions collected on a form. Now this is the list view, and in a minute we're going to jump out and I'll show you some other options we've got, but this is one of the most powerful areas. So we've only got 3 submissions on this, but you can add new submissions by pressing the plus, and you can see from the filter here how we can filter by users, by team, and time and date. We've also got advanced filters so that you can actually type someone's name in and find that name, their phone number, and other parameters and other questions inside the form. And then fields, this is what we have ticked on right now, which is what's displaying below. And you can scroll along kind of like in Excel and see the answers to questions. So if I click on this top one here, you can see one of these side bits slides out, and you can see actually how the form looked when it was submitted. And you can see at the top we've got one of these elements here. It's got a data search. So that's when you're searching on a call file or you're searching on records and pulling in data. So what would have happened here is the field rep would have searched for a name here, and then it would have injected this data straight into the form, and you can see all the questions answered. Now what's really cool and what's unique about Launchcloud is you can actually now edit this data. This is your database. So let's click the edit button at the top right, and you can see it changes a little bit. So we can change latitude and longitude and date and time. More importantly, we can actually change these records. So we can tick boxes and we can edit fields accordingly right here in the reports area. Then once we're done, we just press the tick and it saves the changes. So this is mostly used for visualizing information, and hopefully it can do a lot of what you need straight off the bat. But if you want to download this data, you can tick the tick here, and you can see here you can download, and you have different options to download it as an Excel or a CSV, and you can then put it into other systems. This is obviously a manual way of doing it, and we also have an API and other connections you can automatically connect to external systems. Now let's go and take a look at how the field operative would have actually filled this form in. So if we go to the left-hand navigation and down to Form App. Form App is your link to what would have been the iOS or the Android app, but the web-based version of that. So let's go into the account, into our order forms, and into order form, which is the one we just looked at inside reports. And at the top you can see we have one of these data search elements. So if I type into that, it will search on a database record, find a name, and pre-inject the information right here for us straight away. You don't have to use one of these data search elements. You could just type this information in, but obviously having a database that we're pulling from, it can be really, really powerful to cutting down on errors or adding more insight to your data. And you can see it's filled in some of these fields already for us, and we can go in here and we can click and add more data. You can add rows to these nice tables here, and you can click, and you can see we've got logic working there as well. And then we've got a signature field here. Really nice, really easy to use, really simple to use. And then once you're done, you just press submit. Next, why don't we look at how this form was actually made? So if I go back to left-hand navigation, back to admin dashboard, which is where we started, down to forms. And I'm actually going to search for the order form. There's our order form, and you can see here who this form is actually shared with, and we can add people by clicking the plus button. And this share here allows us to actually do a public share or share with more team members. So a public share is if you want to embed it on a website or send it out as a link. So that's for your customers and how they'd fill it in. All the options are there to share it on any platform. Now if we click the actual bar, we go inside the form.
and you can see what the form looks like. And as you can see, it looks consistent all the way through. All the way through, the way we design it on this page and how it looks for the field operatives and how it looks in your reports is always the same. And as I'm scrolling down, you can see we would have pulled these fields in by taking them from here, from this toolbox, and drag and drop and put them into the canvas area. So if I go down to the bottom, let's just show you how easy this is. Let's put in first name and last name, and then we can drag and we can pull these fields to snap to position. And these will automatically look good on a mobile or a tablet, no problems whatsoever. We're going to delete those. Now, if we wanted to have an email trigger to say thank you very much for making the payment and filling out our order form, that's done up here in this settings cog. And you can see here we've got email copy, and we've already got one set up here, which is the order confirmation. You can see it switched live. We can apply logic to that so that it doesn't send every single time, but let's just look at the nuts and bolts of how this was done. So it's called order confirmation. It only goes out when the form was submitted, and it uses an email. So it's looking at the form, finding an email field on the form, and whatever email is put into that email field, it will deliver it to it. And if we scroll down, you can see a PDF is being attached. You can also take the text from the form and inject it into the email as well. Now, one last thing to just bear in mind is we've also got a theme here. So you can create themes, and then you can apply different themes to emails. And that's all done from the theming section. So let's take a quick look at that. So I'm going to click Forms to go back into Forms. And you can see here we've got themes. And in themes, we have form themes and email themes. So the form we were using had that really nice blue theme on it, but we've also got email themes. And there's our order confirmation email there. And so it's got a nice hand on it. Thank you for your order. And you can just change this text. So this is the one that automatically triggers when that form's filled in. Just by typing in there, you can see you can add buttons and colors, really powerful, just to kind of close that loop with the customer and tell them that you've received their order. This can also be done as an SMS as well. And all of that is done through the bots section in the market. So go ahead, make all of these forms, make all these email logics, and then most importantly, invite your team. So if we go to left-hand navigation and users, you can see our team here. And the UI for this is very, very straightforward. You've seen this plus button time and time again. This plus button just adds whatever's on that page. So in this case, users. You type the email address in here, you pick what team you want them to be in, granting them a certain level of access, press add, they will get an invite, and then they're added to your account. Then you can then start sharing folders, forms with them, allow them to fill in forms, allow them to see reports, or give them full access to make forms with you. Really simple. And lastly, I said there was other ways to visualize data. So we've seen the list view, but then if we go back to forms and reports, there's our order form. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 options. So we looked at submission view, which is the list type view. You can look at all the media separately. You can look at graphs and pie charts, and you look at locations. All of this stuff is automatically generated. So the location isn't a question. It's actually, we get it from the location of their device where they were, and you can see the little pin drop here of where the person is, and you can see their media, their submissions, and their reports. Let's go back quick. Let's have a look at graphs and pie charts. We automatically draw these based on multiple choice questions. So that's radio buttons, check boxes, drop downs, and you can see these graphs get automatically drawn. And you can decide to look at it in a bar chart, a pie chart, or a line graph. And all of these can be individually filtered and downloaded. And then lastly, let's look at a media view. So this gives you any images or documents that were uploaded. In this example, we've got the signatures there, and you can click on them, download them, and manage them any way you want.
So as you can see, Launchcloud is pretty straightforward. It's all self-serve, drag and drop, and you can fit it to match your business, automate your processes, and make sure you get the data out of it. Every business is different, we know that, so hit reply on the chat, talk to one of our guys, and they'll help you get Launchcloud in the place that you can make the most use of it. Thanks very much.